Welcome to the Forum Thread Podcast number 35. Here with me today, I've got Chaos Mana.
Hello.
Miss Ray.
Hello.
Mr. Fusion.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
And everyone's favorite forum mod, Zach.
Oh, hello.
That's where you're supposed to say hello.
Yeah.
I said hello. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I heard
you were like,
a
oh,
staticky.
There's a case of the bug going around all over the world.
Yeah, Fusion appears to be slowly dying.
Yeah. You may have heard him
I have
coughing
the mouth
on
aids.
last week's
Yeah.
podcast. Every so often he tried to edit his coughing out, but some of it still got through. So we think he's got the consumption, and he's probably going to be dead by next week. So just wish happy thoughts to him.
The next podcast, maybe
send me donations, lots of donations, beer and gift cards to Twitter at FinFangFark.
Yes,
thank you.
That will cure the consumption. Gift cards.
You know, I was editing the podcast and it didn't even occur to me because, I mean, normally I'm really fucking professional about my audio track. I never have to edit my track. Unlike editing everyone else's, like Nobods, it takes me 2 hours to edit his. And
yes, that's...
If Wes is on, forget it. That's a whole fucking day of editing.
Oh, you just had to mention him again.
Yeah, it was quiet last week. We didn't mention him, so I'll give him his little run today. Yeah, it's always the click, 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 and Nobod is the type, 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 type. So I didn't even really think about the fact that even though I muted my mic on the broadcast, that it was still going over, on my computer. So I didn't even think about that. Now that you mentioned it, I'm like, why would he say... when you said, oh, he was coughing, I was, wait, but I mute. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Audacity picks it up, even if your mute button doesn't.
Yeah, that was on me. My bad, guys. So what's going on?
What is going on? I saw something cool today in the news, and I didn't get to read up on it. Maybe one of you guys have. There was a sperm whale that had beached itself after it was dead or something like that, and some scientists went to cut its guts open, and it exploded.
Like, how?
Delicious.
Like, it was full of gas, and so when he went to try and cut it open, it, boom, whale guts.
Whoa!
No.
That's awesome.
How do they determine who cuts it up?
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic there.
No, it's both gross and awesome because the guy he's like cutting open and it just. It's out of a movie. It's really pretty badass.
Here goes.
I wonder how they decide who gets to cut it up. Like, do they have volunteers? Random person walk by and have a knife? What?
I would volunteer for
Steve,
that.
It's your job to cut open the whale today.
It just reminds me, like, someone walks up to it, accidentally sticks it with a knife, and then just bomb.
I tripped, and my knife fell in the whale.
What sucks about that is, you look at the guy. He's obviously doing this for, science, and he's like, man, I gotta work tomorrow on Thanksgiving too. How can this day get any worse? And all that gas just comes out. He's like, man, fuck me. I'm just going home.
Not only is he covered in whale intestines, but he's also has to deal with the stench of all that gas from decomp.
Oh man.
It's like, imagine driving past a bloated deer on the
Oh
side
my
of the road.
god!
But like the size of a house.
I watched it. Oh, okay.
Oh my
Isn't that awesome?
I think we're gonna have a video in the link dump.
Yes, put that video in the link dump.
That will be in the link dump.
That was
Exploding whale.
Wait, should Gavin have been there?
Slow motion. Dear God, no.
Ooh, that would be really cool. A slow motion exploding whale.
Ugh.
Well, I feel sorry for his family because, like, Thanksgiving's coming up. They're gonna have to deal with him. Hopefully, he doesn't know about
can you
that.
imagine if does whale carcass, does that just stay on your skin? I mean, how does that work? Just the stench. I mean, like if you get sprayed by a skunk, they say if you bathe in tomato juice that it kills.
It doesn't really.
It neutralizes it.
I lived out in the
See
country.
the Mythbusters on that? I can't remember if they tested a bunch of skunk.
I don't know about
treatments.
Mythbusters, but I can tell you it doesn't really work. I lived out in the
Yeah.
country, and my sister and a couple of her friends had gotten. No, it wasn't my sister. She was just with them, but she didn't get sprayed. But two of my sister's friends got sprayed, and they like bathed in tomato sauce and like tomato paste, and just rubbed tomatoes all over them, and they washed and scrubbed, and they burned their clothes, and like it took several days before they stopped smelling like skunk. It was really rough for them.
That's crazy. I don't know, man. Just if I was sprayed by a skunk, I'd want to kill myself. Just oh
Dear
god.
God. It'll
Man,
get
it's
better.
just-
Calm down.
I don't know, man. Seriously, does it get better?
After a
I mean,
while,
seriously.
you just stop smelling it.
Yeah, it's just like fuck me. I smell like skunk all the time.
It would be a good story to
Shit.
tell forever.
You
Yeah.
you just get one little spray, and then you just like, I gotta find the rifle.
Like, I
Right?
can't
Well,
I
go
don't mean
on.
that. I mean like if you're like doused in it, you know.
You should not
Oh, yeah.
be. You shouldn't work for a suicide hotline because you get fired right away.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
better
I'm
paper
not
cut
very.
and
I'm
it-
not very positive when it comes to things like that. I'm just like, if you're gonna don't make empty threats. You know, like that's. I think Dark and I had this conversation a long time ago, briefly. But what I hate the most about social media is the people. You know, we call them the lowest common denominator. They're people that just ruin everything. And on Facebook, it's one of those cases where we have family and friends that are lowest common denominators. What I mean by that is they post their fucking food and their kids' cards every other minute, and it's
Yeah,
like
doesn't
I don't
everyone
care
wanna
about
see
that
that?
shit.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. But I mean, what I'm talking about is when they want attention and they make these vague like, nobody. If I was to disappear, nobody would miss me.
Yeah.
My response is, well, first off, usually if I have a friend or family member that does that, I just block the feed because I think it's just attention whoring. You know,
Yeah.
quit seeking the attention. But I mean, I usually would just tell people, well, fucking do it then. You know, because they're just looking for attention. They're not serious about it. If you're feeling suicidal, you're not going to post something on Facebook. You know, you're not going to say, I think I should end it all on Facebook. That's 99% of the time that's not the case. Now, there are rare occasions where that does happen, but those people have some real fucked up lives to begin with.
Yeah,
and you know who
there's
those people
definitely
are.
Yeah.
a difference.
You always
It's
get the
hard-
warning signs ahead of time.
Yeah, but I mean, talking about like, Joe Schmo, a friend of yours, it's a fucking, I don't know, an accountant that says, oh, maybe I should just jump off a bridge. Nobody would care. And then you see all the posts, I would. No, don't do it, Bruno. I'm going to pray for you.
Don't do
Shut
it.
up.
Don't do it.
And I'm over there like, do it, damn it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on
Show
that
some
one.
fucking balls. Don't just say it, do it.
Oh, and that reminds me of that thing that I posted on was it yesterday on Rooster Teeth with the guy from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory about that woman that had blessed me over the phone. I'm like, well, what if I would have done a bad job helping her? Would she have cursed me? And
Well,
then I
what do you mean? What do you mean by blessed? Did she just say,
it was a whole
bless you, or was it like a drawn out
Yeah.
thing?
It was a whole little spiel there at the end. It was like probably a full 5 seconds of her like, oh yes, you thank you so much. You truly I really hope that you're blessed now or something along those lines. It was like really weird. Like, okay, lady, I've just helped you with your email, but if that's gives me a blessing for something, okay, I'll whatever.
She
You
probably
got
had to
blessed
deal
for
with
fixing
a
her email.
whole,
That's a pretty good deal there.
a whole
Yeah.
lot worse.
But then I started
customer
thinking about it.
service.
Yeah, I started thinking about it, having the religious knowing that I do, and like women in the Bible are not allowed to do spiritual things like that. So I'm like, would she even be allowed to bless me? Like, probably not. She's probably not allowed to do that. And then I started thinking, what if I had done a bad job? Would she have still blessed me, or would she have cursed me instead if she's one of those blessing curses type of persons? And my mind goes weird places. And so I'm like, this is an interesting thing to ponder about. So I popped onto Facebook, and someone had posted that picture of Willy Wonka, and it's like, if you tell me from the Bible that I'm going to go to hell, how about I show you from Harry Potter that Voldemort is a big deal? Like, I got a really good chuckle out of it, but like after I posted it on Facebook, like instantly it got like thumbed down by several people. Like, I have pissed some people off, and I wasn't even trying to piss anybody off today. Go me.
That's pretty funny. So, didn't like a certain console come out this week?
Yes.
That was a big deal.
Yes, they did.
Did anybody in the panel tonight purchase this said console?
Negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
We're
But
poor.
I think Zach was the most recent that actually last month you went and played a few games on it.
Yeah, I went to an event in Chicago and I got to play Dead Rising 3 and a couple other games.
Ooh, Zach, do tell.
Yeah, I'm a big roller now, so well, I don't know. It like the graphics, the jump is not that great. I mean, they're pretty good right now where they are in the current generation, so you're not going to get much better. And like the controller is pretty much the same, which I like because the controller is perfection right now.
Yeah,
So that's
fix
good.
what's not broken.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know.
Well,
I decided I'm
that
going
was
to wait. I'm
underwhelming.
probably going to to wait until.
Thanks for nothing,
just-
Zach.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
welcome. I'm
thanks.
sorry. I'm not going to sell any systems for them.
That was Zach, our favorite forum mod from roosterteeth.com, and yeah, he sucks at telling stories.
So,
Oh.
so Zach Mod,
I'm only
question, how
I'm only good for cracking wise.
Zach Mod, how has your newfound power been? How is it treating you?
Oh, dude, I was fearing this question. This is I have to be
He asked
careful
the
about
tough
what I say
questions
now.
here.
I know. Trust me, I know that you can't disclose things. And actually, just as a quick aside, both Chaos and I were invited to the Elder Scrolls Online beta testing this weekend, and
Brag about
And
I
they're
can't-
not
we
going to be
can't-
able to tell us a damn thing about
no,
it.
I can tell you wholeheartedly that I can't tell you anything due to a non-disclosure agreement we both agreed to. But I can tell you this: if you like MMOs, thumbs up.
What
If
if
you
you
like
don't?
Elder Scrolls, thumbs up.
'Cause I like Elder Scrolls, but I don't like MMOs. So
I'm on the same boat. What would you say to that?
Well, let me put it like this though: even if you don't like MMOs, the feel is of an Elder Scrolls game with a shitload of quests. So it's pretty much Skyrim, but with a lot of other players. So I mean, if you like having other players in your map then in Skyrim it's for you. You'll like it. But I think it won't be a paid game, like a paid monthly subscription for very long. I think it'll hit the free to play like all the others are doing now, except for WoW.
That'd be nice, because then I could probably actually play.
hey, Mr. Fusion,
But see, you what's up?
I think I hear Bethesda's police rolling up the driveway. You might want to check your.
Crap.
You might want to check. Your
No,
front door.
that's the FBI. They're pissed because I downloaded some Metallica music.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, good thing you don't have a
Bethesda can't
Connect,
do
so
that
they
now.
can't spy on you to that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm through 80 firewalls, bitch. They can't catch me.
Famous
Safe IP,
last
baby.
words.
Safe IP. But it was really fun. We can't talk too much about it, but yeah, it was fun. Better than the first go round.
Yeah, I think you've talked more about not being able to talk about it than you have actually talked about talking about it.
Yeah, I'm polishing up for a run of politics.
Mhm.
So
You're doing a fantastic
um,
job. I
yeah, thank you. I appreciate
I'll
that.
vote for
So,
you.
Yeah, I can't disclose
Twice.
any information, but it's worthwhile. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll vote for you twice. I'll make sure that gets through.
Appreciate that.
Fusion for president, y'all.
Oh yeah.
What would be your first act as President Fusion?
To repeal the ACA.
Ooh.
That would be my first act if I was president now. But based on the whole process, if and when I became president, I would say, let's see, I would probably have a very short term or be assassinated because my first goal would be to administer term policies on every single political seat. That would probably be which of course would probably be overturned every time I would submit it. So just think about that. Every politician has a term limit. Every one of them.
That would make the most sense, and that would actually benefit democracy.
Yes. It's just disturbing when a senator's been he has a seat for 30 years and he comes out worth like $30 million. That just doesn't seem right to
That,
me.
sir, is what they call big business.
Yes, I know. But that would be my thing. I think I would initiate term limits on every single political seat.
Term
That
limits
would be
on
very fun.
everything. And then you would have a grandiose assassination. It would all be caught on camera.
With fanfare, a parade in your honor.
I would give you a beautiful eulogy.
You know, I would probably be the first president where they would drag me out in front of the White House and just put a gun in my head. I mean, they wouldn't even, they would say
It's not
no.
even a conspiracy. It's just
Yeah, they're just at this point. They're like, no, fuck this. We're just going to take him out. You know, there's not going to be a conspiracy. Who shot me? They're not going to pay some douchebag, crazy military guy to take me out. No, they're just going to drag me out in front of the White House, put a cap in my head, and say, okay, who's next?
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller.
Not Old Yeller.
But anyway, back to the Xbox One before we got into politics.
X-Bone.
I decided I'm going to wait till March when what is it? I forget the game now. Killzone? No.
Destiny?
No, Destiny's later in the year, isn't
Oh,
it?
I don't know. They haven't set a date yet.
I tell you what I want, and it has nothing to do with the X-Bone. I want to play the new Super Mario Brothers on the Wii U.
It's so fun.
That looks super fun to me, and I really want to play it. So I think I'm gonna get a Wii U before I get an Xbox or PlayStation.
I just bought that Mario game like last week, this weekend,
I knew there
and
was a reason why we needed
It's-
to have you on this podcast tonight.
it's the most amazing Mario game I've ever played. So I was playing with my friend all day, and we play a few levels like 3 times in a row. And he turned to me and he's like, "When was the last time you ever played a Mario game that you played 3 times in a row, at the same level?" Like never. They're just so fun.
Yeah, and the social aspect is what's so great about
Yeah.
it. The only time I really play a Mario game is like when I'm like at my sister's house or something, and I have someone else to play with because it's social. You get to laugh at each other and take turns trying to see, okay, if what you've done to try and beat the level didn't work, you have them, but now you can actually play like with 4 people on the screen at one time instead of just one other person. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I knew there was a reason why we got you on this podcast tonight.
Well, and like the HD graphics are way better because I have a Wii also,
Oh, yeah.
and I hated how like it looks so choppy. But now the
Yeah.
Wii U is HD, so it's so much better. It's worlds
That was the
ahead.
problem that my sister and I had. We played the shit out of Donkey Kong Country on the Wii, Donkey Kong Country Returns, but
Oh, yeah.
we did it on a 46-inch LED TV, and you know, by comparison to the old games, it looks pretty damn good. But on HD TV, it's pretty cringeworthy.
Yeah.
So, what else has impressed me about the Wii? Like the Xbox 360, have any of you guys heard how it's not going to be able to do the 1080p? It's going to be doing 720.
yes.
Yeah, and that
It's definitely fallen.
Yeah, and that the Wii U has 1080p, no problem. I think that's kind of an odd thing that, you know, a little measly
What
Wii
was
U
the-
is pumping out 1080p when the Xbox.
What was the reasoning behind that?
You know, I really don't know. I just
It
heard
was
them
the
bitching a lot.
reasoning. One of the big reasons behind keeping it, I guess, low is to make it more stable, so that there's no sudden rises or sudden dips in frame rate.
I don't know. Part of me calls bullshit on that. I mean, just for the fact that, like, with my computer here, if I wanted to on most games, I can set those games to higher than 1080p resolution. I mean, we have the power to do that. So,
Yeah, they're like just now, like Tolbus was saying a whole bunch about it. They're like just now, like, oh, we have 30 frames a second and this 720. While the computers are like higher than 1080, 60 frames, and you know some people have super machines which can go even higher. Like even the normal range of PC seems to be better frame rate than what the consoles can do.
yeah, I'm really disappointed that is like acceptable, especially for this new generation of consoles that we have out now. What did the Xbox 360 run at? Was it also at 720? I thought it was able to do 1080.
You could do 1080.
No, it can do 1080, but at the very beginning, all the games were at
Oh
720.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of odd. It's almost like a step backwards.
Yeah, the Xbox 360 does 720, 1080, and 1080i. So, but I remember when I first bought it, well, not even the first, but it was like my third unit that I purchased. I had a 1080p TV that I purchased at Best Buy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hook it up to this brand new TV, and let me buy some more games. And it didn't even occur to me, I think this was 2006. I looked at a bunch of the games on the back, and they have, back on the back of the games, they tell you the resolution, 720, 720, 720. So I'm like,
You're
really,
like,
it never occurred.
Why did I buy this
Yeah.
TV for these games?
Yeah, I was, and you remember in 2006, 1080p TVs were still barely around $3,000. So I ponied up $3,000 for this fucking TV, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hook it up, And then I look in the back, 720, 720. So I was like, really? I have a Blu-ray player that's a piece of shit. I paid a lot, but it's old now, and it shoots out 1080p. And you're telling me that, after a year there are no 1080p games out?
Does a 720 look any better? Like, it's still 720 as a game, but does it look any better on the higher grade TV, or is it just the same?
It looks the same. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it looks about the same. Yeah.
I mean, it just like Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5, 1080, 720. 1080 looks much better. That's mostly because of the shadowing. It looks a little cleaner on 1080. But most of the other games that do have 1080, I've played them on 720 and 1080 because I have a backup TV in my office that does 720, and I really can't tell the difference. I can't. So. But I think that's silly that a new gen console that's 720 that doesn't. I don't know. That sounds silly to me.
Yeah, it's kind of retarded. Now, what do we know about the PlayStation 4? Is it 1080 or is it 720?
I do believe it's 1080. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say because that just sounds like Sony wouldn't dick around with something like that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody bitching about it.
I don't know. I think they're getting closer in how identical the systems are. Like, they're kind of bouncing off each other. Like, oh, we have this, we have to have this now. So I don't know if they have it.
Well, I know on Kotaku they did an installation test on both units, and they said that Sony starts the game up after a minute. So it's just like you install a portion of the game, then you can start up after installing a portion of the game. But on the Xbox, they said it took several minutes, like 5-6 minutes, before you can actually start playing the game. So the installation of a game is a lot longer on the Xbone.
It's almost like that was one of the advantages of playing on a console before, was that you did not have to install the game onto the hard drive.
Installing, no thing like the basic advertisement of why consoles were quote unquote better. It's just simply because you buy an Xbox, you want to sit down, pop in your game, and that's all you have to do. With PC, you have to
that was really
install it, put in the drivers, make sure the video card's all set up, and all these different steps.
With services kind of like Steam, it's really easy. You literally download it, and you don't have to worry about any of the drivers or anything because it's already been optimized to run on your version of Windows or Mac or whatever the hell you're using. They sometimes have different versions of it, and you're ready to go. Yeah, you've had to download it, but it's no big deal. You expect
with Steam, it's a partial download to start playing. It's not a full download.
Yeah, not like the damn Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4 now, where they're like, okay, we're still consoles, but guess what? You're gonna have to install the game on the hard drive. And
also the games. The big point is the games are getting bigger. Like one of the popular ones, like say Halo. The Halo 5 is gonna be like 6 or something gigs. They've got to increase the total memory if they wanted to go to a complete digital-based consoles with no hard copies of games. They got to increase the memory where you can store on your actual Xbox, or else your Xbox or your PlayStation would never be able to handle having a actual library of games.
I was looking at the capacity of the Xbox One's, the Xbone, the Xbox's hard drive, and the size of the games. And after the games are down, I don't know how much of the game it will install on there, but given the size of each game and the size of the Xbox's hard drive, you can only store 10 games on there. That's if you installed the entire game. I don't know how much of the game data is stored on there, but if the entire game was saved on the hard drive, you'd only be able to put 10 of them on there.
So what you're talking about, a game is worth 50 gigs? That doesn't sound right, because the hard drive is 500 gigs. So you're saying 10 gigs?
Is that the only size?
Yeah,
That, as far as I'm, yeah.
It was one of those launch videos that I was watching, and they
well, I did see a launch video for the PlayStation 4 where these guys were able to install a 2 terabyte hard drive onto their PS4. So Sony's it's easier to install a third party hard drive. You know, the hard drive for the Xbone is more proprietary. So
yeah, that doesn't surprise anybody, does it? Coming from Microsoft.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but we always slam Apple, and then we always slam Apple for doing shit like that. But come on, Microsoft is in the same boat. They do that kind of crap
but
too.
The difference,
especially with the console,
like,
because up until the first few years of the 360, you couldn't find third-party shit around.
Yeah, well,
it was mostly Microsoft.
Well,
stuff.
Mr. Fusion, the difference that you have there is everyone knows that Microsoft is a dirty cunt. And like Apple still pretends to be some like wholesome Disney-esque company that, even though it's,
you're right.
even though it's
You're right.
straight
They
to its
pretend
core.
they pretend to be the sweet little virgin girl. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, that you're right. Good comparison.
Well, and going back to the hard drives filling up really fast, that they also don't tell you when it's going to fill up. They give you an alert, but they don't tell you what your capacity is or how much you have left.
No,
Which they do on the 360, but they took that away, which I don't know what the reason for that was.
They're like, yeah, we don't want you to be aware of when you're reaching maximum space.
Yeah.
Because that looks bad. So,
so hopefully they fix that with an update, because that's
it's
ridiculous.
Like, what you don't know can't hurt you until you run out of space.
Surprise! You're out of
You
you're
don't
out
have
of
to
space.
completely install too much for most of the games. I'm fine with, say, if it would be an option to install a bunch of files so that you wanted game A to actually run a little bit faster because it doesn't have to run through the disk each time it needs a file. Having some sort of cache would make sense, but having to download one and run out of space on this or that, because this is supposed to be an all-in-one system, so if you want to actually use all the capabilities, that's more memory of your Xbox or PlayStation that you're using out of.
Well, that's the point of having the 8 gigs of RAM. The unit only uses 4. The other 4 are for the background. So,
excuse me.
If you're installing a game that you purchased online, the extra 4 gigs will install. The way it's set up, and I think it's 3 operating systems the Xbone runs. It'll start installing that game in the background while you're playing a different game, as opposed to just stopping and starting and stop based on what you're doing in a game. So that's what I understood from months back when we were reading up on all this shit. But whatever. I mean, the main thing is that it's going to have a bevy of really cool games like. And to correct it, Titanfall was the game I really want to play, and that comes out in March. So I was gonna try to say I can wait till my birthday in April next year, but fuck that. I want Titanfall, so it's gonna be in March that I will purchase an Xbox. And it was kind of back and forth. Am I gonna get a PS4, Xbox? I'm sure by the end of next year I'll have both systems in my house.
You know what's kind of sad to me?
Like
that I'm thinking now, like. The number of games that I want. I can think of a bunch of games that I want on the Wii U. I can think of several that I want to get for the PlayStation 4, but I can't think of any that I'm looking forward to on the Xbone.
Really?
No.
So no Halo 5?
You don't like Halo 5?
Or
Destiny?
No, after playing Halo 4 and playing Halos 1 through 3, I really enjoyed the original trilogy. And Halo 4 was pretty good, but it just didn't move me like the originals did. It just kind of felt like more of the same thing that we've already seen. And I'm looking forward to Sony announced that they're doing Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm really, really looking forward to that. Like, it's almost irrational how much I'm looking forward to that. Like, I've been...
And the cool thing is it's on both platforms. So.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it's going to be both on the Xbox and the PS4.
Okay, we'll see. There. Now I'll have an excuse to get an
I
Xbox.
like how the game that I'm really looking forward to, which Metal Gear 5 is going to even be on the older generation consoles as well as the new ones. So I can.
Have you
it on
seen some of the
PS3.
Have you seen some of the gameplay for that new Metal Gear?
I'm
No, I haven't,
purposely since it's,
God.
I'm purposely avoiding looking at that because I want it to be a new experience when I actually pop in the game for the first time, because it's going to be like probably the last one, unless they do this bridging connection between the storylines.
You know they can, and they probably will.
Oh, I wouldn't mind a remake of the original, which was just a top-down, just running around game with very, very poor graphics. If they did a remake of that, if they did it right, it would be a really nice game.
Oh yeah. If they gave it a proper treatment, like I don't know, kind of like the re-release of the original Halo Combat Evolved. That didn't change anything, just gave it an HD skin. Obviously, they would have to change the original, but using the engine of one of the newer games to retell the original story, yeah, I can totally see them being able to do that and get away with it, and making their fans very happy.
Well, I mean, we were talking. Go ahead.
If they made a HD remake, like one of the big upsets was Hater leaving for actually being the main head of the voice of Solid Snake. But then again,
yeah, because David Hayter will not be Solid Snake in this game, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, he's supposed to be older, so it would make a little bit more sense for him to not have the same voice, because he wasn't Big Boss in number 4 either. But if they brought him back for the other one, then it would. They
had him voice Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 4, where he was like an old grandpa, so it would make sense.
Yeah, but it's the guy that's the dominant gene, so his voice would change a little bit. Just like how Liquid Snake was recessive and he was completely British and all that.
Completely British.
So it'll depend on how it goes. I really am looking forward to it. I hope it's a good game.
Chaos.
Uh-oh.
We lost him.
And it's going to be on all systems.
Wait, did we drop
have
him
you
on
heard?
the
Have you heard about?
Oh no, he's still alive.
David?
Oh, so it did that thing. Okay.
Yeah,
it did that thing. That thing.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, that thing, the hiccup thing again. Yes, it did that.
Please hold while we experience technical difficulties.
We should all sing some holding.
It's just a matter of refreshing the chat.
Mm-hmm. So, I will tell you about this awkward remake that I discovered. It's no secret that I'm a big fan of the Age of Empires games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I saw on Steam that they had re-released the Age of Empires 2 game, Age of Kings, in sizzling HD.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out to be really awkward. Like, it looks pretty good, but it's still like sprites moving around on a screen, and like it's got a lot of strange graphical glitches that didn't really exist in the first one. They may have patched it by now, but like, when I gave it a try, I'm like, this is awkward. I'm not sure why I shelled out so much money for it, even for a nostalgia trip. This just is not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, especially after getting used to playing Age of Empires 3, where it's actually in full 3D and really shiny water and all of that, and jumping
Flashy
back.
graphics.
Yeah. I'm like, if you're gonna remake something, I mean, you could have. They already had the Age of Empires 3 game engine. It wouldn't have been that big of a stretch to just, do a full-fledged conversion.
Mm-hmm.
But they were far too lazy to do that. They just decided to try and throw it out there and milk everybody for their for everything that it was worth for nostalgia, and it worked. And I feel like such a sucker.
They have your money now.
Yeah, and I'll
Michael
never get that money back.
M2400 in the chat on Twitch, he brought this up, and it didn't even occur to me when we all found out about the change in Twitch. In case if you're watching now live,
I think it's kind of bullshit.
rather than listening a download later. Twitch changed their terms of service this week, and going forward, you have to, in order to be broadcasting on Twitch, you have to have video game footage. If it's not video game footage, it's a violation of terms of services, and account and channel will be destroyed and become inactive.
Yep.
And they will send down a missile strike to your home. Well, you know, I didn't.
We have Minecraft showing on our Twitch channel
Yeah,
today.
exactly. That's why Chaos is playing Minecraft.
Did you know
Anyway,
why they did that though?
Yes,
Okay.
This is the thing. I am one of the most pessimistic people, misanthropic individuals you'll ever meet, and yet it didn't even occur to me that this has to do with the fact that there's a bunch of dickheads out there showing dickheads out there. I mean, that's exactly what happened. I mean, all of these, I don't know if you want to say just retarded people just started just twitching videos of themselves beating off.
Well, it's because the
doing-
PS3 came out with Twitch streaming.
What's
It's
that?
because the PS3 or PS4 just came out with Twitch streaming.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, so
it
did
seems
so
to
did the
indicate
Xbox.
here.
Well, no, the streaming doesn't work yet on the Xbox. It's
Yeah,
gonna work
they
on the Wii U.
made an announcement how they disabled Twitch on startup for the Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and you know what it is? It's just that this is why we can't have nice things. This is exactly why.
Exactly.
Because
if
it's
you're
like-
going to
Get off.
masturbate on the internet and you're going to record it, post it to a reasonable site like XTube, Pornhub, any of those nice.
Well, you remember chat? Do you
Chat
remember Chat Roulette?
Yeah.
I mean, it started off as a pretty interesting thing, and then like a day later, there's dicks all over
I
it.
think
Speaking
South
of
Park
Chat
did an
Roulette-
episode about that, didn't they?
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube going around that this one guy is doing the Wrecking Ball music video in Chat Roulette, and the reactions to the people is the best thing ever.
But I mean, is Chat Roulette still a thing?
Yeah, it is. I was surprised
Yeah.
to see that it still is. People do this.
But you're right, Dark. There is a really funny South Park episode. It's where Cartman tries to get Kyle to make friends, and there's like, okay, I don't want. Okay, a picture of a dick, a guy with his dick out, another guy, and Kyle's like, Jesus, all it is these guys, jerking off, and there's a guy like, oh hey guys, and it seems like a nice young man. He's like, how's it going? Pretty good. How are you doing? Good. All right, cool deal. They think it's like just a nice guy, right? And he gets up and he starts beating off in the corner.
It's like, he's taking his dick out.
Yeah, he just stands up and he walks to the corner. You're like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, I
and,
remember.
and Kyle goes, great, he's jerking off.
I
dude."
remember that. And then Cartman, that's the one where Cartman says, Kyle, if you want to make some quality friends, you've got to wade through all the dicks first.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's true that, you give the masses shit like this, Rule 34, man. Rule fucking 34.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't say that. That means there's porn of all of us.
there is
Together.
If there's
There will be now.
That means
If we
there's
have-
forum
look-
thread, podcast, porn.
Ray, I don't want to
That
alarm
actually
you.
I would actually be surprised if I saw any of that.
Ray, I don't
I would
want to
be
alarm
flattered.
you, but the more people listen to this podcast, Rule 34 gets. I mean, it's going to get broken.
We should
I
have a
would
Rule
like to watch
34
them.
contest. The forum thread Rule 34. Who can,
I don't want.
who
I
can
do
draw
not
the
want to
best
see Rule
fan
34
porn?
shit related to this stuff. No.
Who can draw the
no.
best fan porn of the forum thread
Well,
podcast crew?
wouldn't that require them getting images? I don't even know if they have good image fusion.
Well, if
They can
you
make 'em up.
go to the Rooster Teeth website and you're resourceful, you can find that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Artists, they have
Oh yes,
creativity. They
it's
can
out
just
there.
invent
And
us.
besides, they don't even need to know what we look like. They can just, say this is so and so, and this is.
I mean, for some of our previous cast members, it's not that hard. Pardon the pun, but I mean, like Indie, I'm sure there's no need for a Rule 34 with Indie. It's not. I mean, I'm sure if you Google search, you'll get some pretty, some pretty provocative photos from her. I mean,
Oh, wow.
you didn't hear that from me, but. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm joking. It's a joke.
I can
Exactly.
hear everybody going to Google and looking it up right now.
Yeah, I just before
It's like,
before
oh my God, are
everyone
those iPods
crashes the
covering
net.
her tits? What?
I'm kidding.
Did
That's
you
a joke.
see Michael M's latest comment? A guy forgot to turn off his webcam during a stream and just went yes.
I knew that was going to happen, man. When the Xbox first came out and they said that the Kinect had to be on at all times, that was my first fear, was that you were going to get a lot of that shit. Like people would be talking and taking calls with via Twitch and Skype, and you would see some unwanted shit.
I think
Yeah.
what they should do is have, I don't know, a way to detect or something. It would probably be a very flawed system at first, but a way to. I mean, they can obviously tell which account did it, or which Xbox is responsible.
Or they just need to make the Kinect smart enough to know, hey, he doesn't have any clothes on right now. I may not want to broadcast him.
If it detects
that
that
would be
you
a
have
problem I would have all the time. Like when I'm lounging around the house, I don't want to have to wear clothes all the time. And if I have an Xbox One, like the Kinect is just going to be seeing me naked, or it's going to be seeing me naked all the time.
You're about to play a Kinect game, and then instead of the normal like you need to back up, it says you need to put your pants on.
Like, please put pants on. Your pecker is showing.
Pants required.
Well, and Gabe from Penny Arcade said, "Don't bother plugging in the cable to it right now. It sucks ass." So there's still a lot of things to be ironed out.
It seems like some
units.
people have better luck than others, which is really strange how varied it is. Some people think it's amazing and that it works flawlessly. Other people want to throw it out the window.
I think it's kind of like Siri, how she has no problem detecting most people's voices, but then you just have the occasional like handful of people that she just doesn't get along with for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
And they're like, why doesn't she know who I am? Like, I don't even have an accent, but she doesn't understand me. Why? I think the Xbox picks and chooses things like that too. It's like, just for no arbitrary reason, I'm gonna hate you and I'm gonna fuck with you.
I have a voice that's deep enough so most voice recognition things I can do like even better than most of the other people in my family. But when it comes to Kinect, it's like, come on, just work.
No, I agree. When I call those automated phone systems, I did not understand that. I'm like, I didn't slur my words. I don't have an accent. What the fuck do you not understand when I say customer service representative? I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Customer service rep.
Well, my biggest issue
You get
with
that
Kinect
3 times, and then they're like, please hold while we transfer you to another automated system.
What I do is if it does that the first time, I'm sorry, I just keep hitting 9 until it goes, okay, we're gonna transfer you to a rep. Cool, awesome. I try to avoid those automated systems. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's what hell will sound like. I was talking to somebody at work about what hell would sound like. I imagine it would be a combination of an automated voice systems, those moving sidewalk voices at airports, the ones that replay the same message about watching your step over and over and over again. If you've ever been in a big enough airport and you sit in just the wrong spot, you'll get the voices on one side, and you'll get the voices on the other side, and then of course they have more than one moving sidewalk, so then you have them speaking at the same time but out of sync with each other, all repeating the same message over and over in that irritating machine voice that's just a little too cheery. Like, oh, please someone give me some earplugs or I'm gonna kill someone.
Guess what they added to my bus? They added a walkthrough for how to use the bus system. So every time someone walks in, it'll like a really annoying voice will say, "Take your ticket now."
Oh God.
Show your ID, please.
What about the poor bus driver that has to listen to that all day? We're gonna get people killing people because these machines don't shut the fuck up.
It used to be just a thank you for writing via like announcement on the thing. Now it's like advertisements and the speakers work, so it's like very clear and obvious, even on the older buses.
If I was one of those poor bus drivers that had to listen to that, I would accidentally spear my. Oh, what type of soda do bus drivers drink? Whatever soda it is that bus drivers drink, I would spill it all inside that speaker just so it would not be able to make that noise. Like, oops.
I just want to correct something Chaos said earlier.
Huh?
The new Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, the character is still going to be Solid Snake.
Yeah.
It just will not be voiced by David Hayter, which
that's what
created a big
That's what
hell.
I said. It's not Solid Snake. It's Naked Snake or Big Boss. But yeah, it's not by Solid.
Are you sure? I thought it was Solid Snake.
It's after the events of Peace Walker.
Okay.
In between, you can tell because he has an eye
because
patch.
what was the game? Because this was initially called something else, right?
It
And
was
then changed.
initially called Ground Zeroes, and so it's a strange thing. Like Ground Zeroes is part 1 of the game,
Yeah.
And then the Phantom Pain is the kind of more flitched out or second part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this one is going to be more open world as well.
Yeah, I saw some of the gameplay. They showed the video, the E3 footage, and it just, man, it looks sick. Really, just crazy. I mean, like it's movement stealth where you use everything as like a weapon, as a way to hide. And if am I reading this correctly, Kiefer Sutherland is going to be playing Snake. He's going to be voicing Snake.
Yes.
Who is this?
Jack Bauer. Kiefer Sutherland.
And who is this?
You don't know who Kiefer Sutherland is?
I probably know his face. What?
The Lost Boys.
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me.
That one.
I did see that movie, but those were all kids.
Young
in that
Guns. I'm sure you've seen Young Guns because in the gay community, isn't it called Young Buns?
Movie. No,
Wow.
I've had my gay card revoked by too many people from not having watched all these classic like gay movies that every other gay guy has supposedly watched. So
Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
I totally haven't seen that.
Did you ever watch 24?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised you don't know who Kiefer Sutherland is.
don't- I
Possibly know
might
what
have-
he looks like. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Google him. Let's see if I don't even know how to spell his name. I'm sure Google will fix it.
Well, especially with
That's-
the drama of everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know who this guy is.
I'm surprised you had to think about that one.
Well, I've never watched anything that he's in, but except Stand by Me. But
Well, actually, I'm going to recommend a movie right now. Dark City. Very good movie.
Dark City. Let me Google that.
Is that a movie
Google
in
machine,
black and white?
Tell me about Dark City.
No, it's not in black and
It came
white.
out in
no, no, no.
1990.
It's in chroma key.
Yeah, neo-noir is the term, but it's a movie you have to
Ooh,
watch
this
from beginning
looks
to end.
Cool.
It's a bit of a mind fuck until the very end. So, and
Wait a
actually, I
minute.
think
Wait
it
a
came.
minute. Clarify. It's a mind fucked until the end. Does that mean the ending sucks?
No. It becomes the ending doesn't suck at all. It just the whole movie sets up the ending, and the ending. I don't want to give. I'm trying not to give away too much, but the payoff isn't like grandiose, but it's very good. So.
Let's see. A man struggles with memories of his past, including a
Don't
wife
read the
he cannot
plot.
remember.
Watch the
Nightmares
movie.
no sun and run by beings
It's on
with
Netflix.
telekinetic powers who seek the souls of humans. Oh my
Can
god!
any of you pull off the movie trailer voice?
I think I'm
Who? Don LaFontaine?
just reading the premise of this movie like makes me want to touch myself. Seriously,
There you go.
this is amazing.
Bye.
Yeah. Didn't it come out? I think it came out at the same time as The 13th Floor. Did you ever watch that movie?
Negative. Let me find out if it came out at the same time. Though this came out in '98. The 13th Floor. 99. 13th Floor came out in '99. Mr. Fusion.
Okay. Well, The Matrix came out in '99 as well, and
That is true.
people were. It was kind of funny because this movie came out in '98, and I loved it. And then The Matrix came out in '99, which was a good movie, but when the video for Dark City came out, people were slamming it, calling it, "Oh, this is just a cheap knockoff of The Matrix." It's like, no, it's not. It came out before, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, that was
know?
back when the world was still dark and backwards, and they didn't know how to use the internet right to check for
Yeah.
when movies came out. Oh,
Isn't that crazy? You can access pretty much anything nowadays on the internet, and I think that's both a good and bad thing.
I think it's mostly a good thing, and usually, except unless you have one of those serial killer websites where all the serial killers get together and decide who they're going to kill next. Yeah, that
Well, kind of like the Sinister Six and Spider-Man.
that wouldn't
Jesus.
be so hot. No,
Okay. But anyway, watch Dark City. It's a really good movie. I recommend it.
I'm putting it on my to watch list.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, are we going to do advertising for Netflix?
Might as well. I mean, they're apparently
First
they're
sponsors.
pretty They're so popular right now that cable companies are offering to make them a network on their cable
What?
packages.
Really?
Holy shit.
That would be
you
awesome.
serious?
Yeah, I'm not joking. I read an article today that the CEO of TiVo stated that because of their popularity, maybe we should distribute Netflix on cable television. I'm like, isn't that
What?
fucking
That-
counterproductive?
That how is that? That
How does
the
that? No, wait. How
logistics
does
of
that?
that
How do
doesn't
you,
even
what does
make
that mean to
sense.
distribute Netflix on TV? Would that just be like another on-demand channel or something?
No, they're talking about making it a broadcast channel.
Well, okay,
But-
since
Is
Netflix
that
is
Netflix
making its
on
own
it, or is
TV
that just a
shows,
random series of videos or shows?
No, what that is that's what that would let's be frank about it. What
Yes,
this
let's.
is
Clear this up,
it's
Bijan.
cable television realizing that they are behind the times in not giving a la carte packages, bloated monthly bills, shitty internet service to customers, and customers they have the ability now with choices. You can purchase Netflix, Hulu Plus. Okay, well, not every show is there. Well, fuck it, I can go to Google, Amazon, or iTunes and purchase the shows in. So people were like, well, I don't have to watch it when it airs live. I can wait till the next day and download. I'm not in a rush now because I have. I purchased the season, and like with Amazon, they're really cool because with Game of Thrones, and I did this last season, you can purchase the season up front. Like it was like $35 or $39. You pay for the full season up front, and then the day after it airs, you're ready to download off Amazon. So, I mean, there's so many options now that cable television, which they were a monopoly. Let's be real, they're a monopoly.
Oh yeah.
They're starting to lose that power, and so what they're doing, and one thing, Netflix has had its ups and downs with their CEO, but the one thing about Netflix is they stay true to what they are. They don't want to taint where they started and what they've built with their streaming service, and I find it kind of funny, but this is cable television trying to muddy the waters by saying, oh, well, they would be a good network, and Netflix is like, who the fuck asked you, cable TV?
You're like, we
No.
don't need
Oh,
you.
is it was that their response, or they just completely push it
Yeah,
off?
that, I mean,
was
no,
Netflix
it was
doing?
kind of the Netflix CEO is basically like, that's not what we do. I mean, we are a streaming service that we started off as a disc rental via mail, and the streaming is what put Netflix on the map. Let's be real.
It is,
but,
yeah. It's with the streaming, the movies.
But if
being
you
something
remember
else
2
sucked.
years ago when they announced they were going to start doing original content, a lot of people, even me, everyone laughed at them. They were like, "What the fuck ever? You stream old episodes of the X-Files. You're gonna fail at this." And then House of Cards came out. You're like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
oh my
they're
god!"
like way to prove everybody wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, and then they go and they purchase Arrested Development and release a new season, which everyone's been
it
dying
was
for
actually
4 or
not,
5 years.
Yeah, it
in.
was not bad at all. I did watch some of that, and I wasn't even a fan of the original Arrested Development, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, this is the show that everyone was talking about. This is pretty good.
And then Orange is the New Black, and then they announced last week or 2 weeks ago they struck a deal with Marvel to release a Daredevil's TV show.
Yes,
Iron
I've
Fist,
heard
Luke
about
Cage.
this.
So
It
you know
looks
this
kind
is
of
Netflix's.
amazing.
This is Netflix giving everybody the fucking finger. I mean,
Uh-huh.
this is my conspiracy theory. My
Ooh,
theory,
I love
my theory on this
conspiracy
whole
theories.
thing.
Yes,
Well,
yes, yes.
seriously, you can cue up the X-Files theme song. This is my theory. This is HBO that throwing this HBO and TiVo, but HBO is spearheading this whole campaign of trying to basically devalue the popularity of Netflix by saying because everyone wants HBO Go. People want to pay for HBO Go, if this makes sense. They want to pay for the service without having to purchase the television channel. Does that make sense? I mean, because here in Houston, you purchase your internet and cable TV. Then you have to purchase the HBO package. That's the only way you get HBO Go. But a lot of people are like, I don't have cable TV. I want to watch HBO, but can I just pay monthly for HBO Go? And HBO refuses to do that. But there's such an outcry from people that say that I want HBO Go without having to have cable TV and subscription to the premium channel. This is my feeling is HBO and some other cable groups are like, let's try to just throw shit out there to kind of piss people off about Netflix. And my feeling is don't do that. You don't want to poke that bull, man.
Yeah, because you're just gonna make yourself look stupid, and
Netflix-
you're gonna be the one with
Netflix
egg
is
on your
gonna-
face.
We're probably going to come out on top of most of these type of debates.
Well, yeah, because Netflix is one of those people is in the situation kind of like a Firefox versus Internet Explorer, where you have a lot of people that are using Internet Explorer. It's kind of like they're kind of like the cable companies. They kind of have a monopoly. Everyone uses it. However, those of us that are smart enough to use Firefox or to use Chrome or one of the other browsers, is like, it doesn't matter how badly the internet Microsoft may diss on Firefox or Chrome, but they are superior, and it doesn't matter what sort of smear campaign they have against it. Everybody that's using it is going to continue using it because they know it's a superior product. And it's going to be very similar. I'm predicting anyway, it's going to be very similar. If HBO tries to do this smear campaign against Netflix, everyone using Netflix knows that it's superior to cable TV. And like, that's why I don't pay for cable. I pay for internet, but I'm not going to pay for cable because, hell, I can wait. I don't need to watch it instantly.
Well, when you say HBO, I want to clarify something. That's my theory, is that HBO is one of those groups that are spearheading this whole thing. That's my conspiracy theory. It's not out there that it's HBO. That was the CEO of TiVo that made that statement recently. It
seems legit enough, though, when you think about it. It does seem legit.
Well, because, of all of the apps out there, HBO Go is one of the most popular apps besides Netflix and Hulu Plus and Amazon Instant. And but the biggest complaint is, why do I have to pay for cable television and HBO Premium to get HBO Go?
It really is stupid, and it's kind of the same thing that all these companies do with cable packages. When I worked at Best Buy, I would have people come, ask, and we would have to have the DirecTV people there. It was something that Best Buy started doing. And they would get this same question all the time, like, look, I don't want all of these channels. I want 5 channels. So why can't you just give me those 5 channels, the ones that I want, and I pay for those 5 channels and nothing else? I would be a paying customer then if you let me do that. And they just won't allow that.
The biggest problem is that there's a bundle set up for these things. When they go towards a company, let's say like NBC, Comcast, NBC. Comcast is the big corporation now. It used to be NBC Universal, and then Comcast Cable purchased them, which leads to a whole different can of worms when it comes to like internet, because Comcast is a major internet provider, yet they also release out entertainment content, so there has to be some kind of conflict there, but the government isn't getting involved with that. So it's one of those situations where, like with Microsoft, years ago they were ruled that they were a monopoly and they had to split up the company. That pissed me off that still stands. That ruling stands, yet Comcast can go and purchase NBC Universal. Comcast, a company that provides the service of cable television and internet, and yet they can also own NBC, which is content. And so it's like, this whole thing with
double standards, anyone?
Yeah, with these laws last year, the PIPA and SOPA, you want to put the power in the hands of the internet providers, yet those internet providers also provide the entertainment content that they don't want pirated. It's like there's a major conflict of interest there, But we won't talk about that kind of stuff, which
because that's
wrong.
Scary to talk about.
Exactly.
You'll rile people up.
We want to address
people
the
might
fact
get
that
angry.
Yeah, you're downloading music and movies. That's a sin. You're breaking the law. But we're not talking about any type of antitrust laws that are being broken, because it's like, no, they're big companies. They're good people. That's how we look at it. But anyway, what
Mr. Fusion's soapbox.
Yeah, it's just it angers me, because like when I read the article today, I'm like, really? I mean, I knew what they were trying to do. It's not them trying to butter up Netflix. It's them trying to create not fear per se, but mostly just people saying, well, I don't want to keep my Netflix account if they're going to become cable television, because then they may go up in price. They'll start airing commercials on all their content, like to kind of drum up that kind of shit. That's all that is. That's all that is. It's trying to create a problem for Netflix. And watch Netflix, they'll do something. I mean, I know their CEO has said some stupid shit in the past, but for the most part, they've been a pretty good company. So I'm interested to see what their reaction, like in terms of business wise, to stuff like this. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll come up with a reasonable solution. they're pretty good with innovation, even if it does cost them customers. Do you remember when they decided to split the packages up between doing the streaming and doing the DVDs mailed to your house?
I definitely
Yeah.
remember it because I was heavily dependent on getting
Well,
those discs.
and don't forget the CEO basically said, "Fuck y'all, we have 4 million subscribers, so we're fine." And within a day, something like 200,000 people canceled their membership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was stupid, but for the most part, Netflix, they've been a pretty decent company, like how they've handled their product.
But
They
I
haven't been-
actually respect them for that decision. Because it was pretty stupid to offer, to have that all bundled into one package when not everybody's using it, and it's costing them a lot of money. So they're like, look, we're gonna do this. It's a smart decision. I mean, it is the smartest decision that we can make at this point in time because it's just retarded.
It also
And-
helps them keep their namesake.
Yeah, and so they decided, okay, we know we're going to lose a bunch of you guys that are going to be pissed off when we split these services up, but that's just the way it's going to be. So, if for those of you that stick around, hey, we like you guys. For those of you that are leaving, bye, fuck you. And they left it at that. They didn't try and kiss any ass. They didn't try and please everybody. They're just like, look, this is the decision that we're making. We're not going to apologize for it.
Do
Thank
they
you.
even I don't think so. I'm pretty certain, but do they even do discs anymore? Or
Yes.
when was
Yeah,
the last?
They still do.
Okay.
They still do. Yeah.
Yeah, my
'Cause-
sister, she still gets the DVDs. She pays to do the double service.
Well, actually, Chaos. There's a lot of product is still only offered via DVD. I mean, yeah, we think that they offer a lot of content on stream, but there's a shitload that's not. And then I don't know if you notice it, but they tend to rotate in and out. I think because of their licensing for the streaming, I think they purchase them in bulk time, like so many months or a year or whatever.
Yeah,
because
I've noticed that
some
too.
stuff will roll in and out. So
I had Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in my instant queue, and I managed to watch like 5 or 6 episodes of it, and then it disappeared from the queue. And then the last time I checked, it was back in the queue again because it's now available for streaming a second time. So yeah, I think they do the same thing. They have to, I don't know what you call it, revamp their agreements for digital streaming or something like that.
Well, and we're talking about just cable at conflict with Netflix, but I think eventually cable's going to run out of excuses and start offering a la carte. But the problem with that for them is the massive amount of revenues they're going to lose doing that, because I'll just say round numbers. Like here in Houston, I pay $70 a month for just internet, but they tell me, oh, if you have cable TV, you can get your internet for $45, and then you have to pay $35 for the cable TV, so it's the same price.
Yeah.
But I mean, what happens is when you purchase, let's say, like digital upper tier package or whatever, there's blocks of that bill that go towards the channels that they've purchased, and so if you start offering a la carte, they're going to lose a lot of that revenue because they're going to have, I mean, the whole structure of it will be just, it's more work for them to figure out from a revenue side how they're going to do it if everyone wants to purchase AMC and then MTV and some markets.
It'll be a lot harder for new channels to get out there because no one's going to want to buy the new channel if they don't even know if it's good or not.
Well, and this is a complaint on my part. The censorship on cable TV to begin with, like profanity and stuff, is very limited. Nudity. When I was a kid, there were hardly. I mean, there were some commercials on cable TV, but when I was a kid, there were hardly any commercials. I mean, there were a few, but not a lot. And now it's like
it's
network
mostly
TV
commercials. Yeah.
Yeah, it's network TV,
I
and
read
so
the statistics somewhere, like the average length of a primetime TV show is about 10 minutes less than what it was 10, 15 years ago for all the commercials.
Movies are awful on a lot of channels. It's like 6 hours for a movie that would take you an hour and something minutes. I've seen that. They're just trying to stuff commercials.
They'll edit the movie for TV to make it shorter, and then it'll actually take twice as long to play the movie on TV because they have to have all those commercial breaks in there.
Yeah, and I remember being a kid in the '80s when we first got cable, like that. I remember as a kid. I don't remember there being a shitload of commercials on cable television. Like, I'd watch the Disney Channel and I didn't see commercials all the time. Now, if I sit down and watch the Disney Channel, it's like 2 minutes, 4 minutes of content, 4 minutes of commercial. It's just, and my feeling was I thought that's why you pay for cable television is to not have to deal with that. So
Yeah,
what's the point now?
that's one of the strangest things I've never had a proper answer to. Like, why do people pay for this service when it's absolutely riddled with commercials, and that's where they're making all their money from? Like, why should I pay for this service when where you're making bank off of all these advertisements that are being shoved in my face? I don't like it. I really don't like it.
I
No, I
think,
agree.
I mean, obviously they have to make their money somehow, but they need to not be obnoxious to the point where you don't want to watch something simply because it's going to have too much ads and you'd rather spend your time doing something else.
I'll tell you
Well,
how much of a rebel I am. I have a app on my it's an add-on to my Firefox that even blocks commercials that Netflix or not Netflix that YouTube and like I have to watch Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, which I'm a really big fan of now. It's gotten really good. They have like 3 commercial breaks on their website when they stream it, and it even blocks those. So I get to watch the shows that I want on YouTube or on ABC.com or wherever, completely commercial free.
Wow.
The thing that I have works like that, but there's this one site the only one site where I came across that was like, we detected that our advertisement is not being able to play. So if you want to watch your video, turn off your ad block.
I'm like, yep.
Hulu Plus does that.
Yep, that's
Hulu.
why I don't use Hulu Plus. I'm like, sorry, dudes, I'm not using your service if that's the way you're going to be. Sorry.
Yeah, it'll pop up on your screen if you have an app that blocks their commercials. It will say, unable to stream this content. So, yeah, that's interesting. With the whole thing with paying for it and commercials, I get that you have to generate your revenue, but my feeling is if they decide they will never go a la carte, but this is the problem is that cable, they just won't get with the times, and rather than trying to evolve, they're just trying to squash the competitors and
well, that's
look
the way
for
big
it to happen.
business works anyway. They're like, well, we've been doing it
that's
this
true.
way all this time, and innovation is too difficult, so let's just badmouth all the new stuff that comes out and hope that no one can see what shitty people we actually are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of time it's the same, like 3 ads with very annoying jingles,
Oh, I know.
which they don't work. Like it's like they're not even trying to advertise. I find more often in the gaming community or YouTube give me ads like that are actually channel produced that are more interesting than a lot of the pointless ads that are stuck on random videos.
Well, it's like with terrestrial radio where I worked for so long. When I first got in the business, the internet was barely popping up, and so we would say, okay, in the early 2000s, I was very pro internet. Like, we need to focus on our stream. Then I go work for Clear Channel in 2004, and they're like, oh my God, we need to start streaming everything. Stream, website. Like it's some stroke of genius that they had, and it's whatever. But anyway, basically I listen to terrestrial radio, talk radio I'm fine with, but music it's so bad because it's the same shit over.
I cannot
and
listen to
over.
radio.
And the commercials are the same
I just
ones
can't do it.
over and over, and it makes me wonder how terrestrial music stations have not died.
I don't
because
understand that either. No, I was just recently watching a YouTube channel, a video about that, and like most of the United States still listens to over-the-air radio broadcasts, like to pop music on the radio.
The only time I would listen to radio is if I have no other choice, like in car during long trips. But now I have the option to just like plug in my MP3, put on a podcast or my own music.
You're a sane person. Any sane person, like you will do anything to avoid public radio at all costs because it's horrible. The commercials in the same song over and over and over again. Oh, it's horrible.
Like I said, I'm fine with talk radio because that's just a niche.
I've
But
seen
when
Yeah,
it comes
like
to
talk
more
music,
radio
comedy
can be
radio.
really interesting. You know, it's going to be different every time. Did I ever tell you guys about when I accidentally discovered Spice Radio on Sirius
What?
XM when I worked
No.
at CarMax? Oh my God, it was amazing. The whole station is it employs porn stars, and they talk about what they do with their jobs, and then they'll take calls from people, and it is hilarious. It's kind of sexy sometimes, but mostly it's hilarious and really good entertainment. I definitely recommend if you ever can get in a vehicle with someone that has Sirius or XM, tell them to find Spice Radio and just listen to that shit for half an hour.
You
will
know what
laugh.
channel it is?
No, I don't. I don't
Okay.
pay for it. I just found it by accident one day, and so every time I would detail a car that had Sirius XM, I would
Oh.
tune to that station. I would have to flip through the little guide. You know, they have that booklet that comes with it that tells you
Yep.
what's on all the stations. It's towards the end. It's like
Okay.
two channels.
Channel 102.
It's two channels
I-
away from the Playboy channel. But
I
it's-
just got a new car, and now I have XM radio, so now I'm gonna have to check this
Oh
out.
yeah, how's the
Yes.
new car
New
treatment?
car is so awesome. I highly recommend buying a new car because it feels great.
Yes,
Well,
everyone should buy
I
a
think
new car.
Everyone,
Dark.
go out and buy a new car.
Just buy a new car. Yep, tomorrow.
Zach
Trust me, I'd
Mod.
love to go buy a new car right now.
He's confirmed.
I think Spice Radio was changed to Vivid Radio.
Okay.
Did they change the name? Oh, that's
I think so.
less fun that way. I liked the name Spice Radio.
So the channels.
Also, Zach, if you really, another one is Raw Dog,
Raw
which
Dog.
is like it's uncensored stand-up comedy.
Okay.
That's a really good one too.
Oh yeah, I heard one of my favorite comedians on just randomly on the thing. I was like, oh, I actually know this. But the radio channel that I actually liked like a very long time ago is now like so commercial and written and repeating, and it didn't used to do that. It used to be like a nice set of songs that would be like, oh, I'll just listen to this one now, and it's now just kind of like all the other radio stations.
You know what happened to a popular radio station here in North Carolina? I think it was 93.9, and it was a a pop station where they played today's best music, and it was all right. It was one of those. It had the annoying commercials, and it had played the same song over and over again. But if you're like we listened to a lot when I worked at CarMax, and you needed something that generally played something upbeat with the high tempo in the background to just make the day go by faster.
Yeah.
And like right in the middle of a broadcasting day, I wasn't there for, but my sister, she was driving in her car or something and was just happened to be tuned into it, and they switched over to a country radio station like midday, bam. Like, huh. That's
crazy.
awkward. What happened to the all the people that listened to it for today's best music that now get today's best country?
That reminds me of the movie Airheads.
The flipping, yeah,
Classic.
that's what you saw on there was a little over the top, like of course because it's a movie, but shit like that does happen. I can attest to that where flipping happens. I worked in Austin at a station called The Beat, 4.3 hip hop, and they changed us within like a week, 2 weeks to talk radio, FM talk radio. In 2004, the idea was hot talk is they wanted to, the thing is with broadcasting, you have to come up with cliches or jargon, and coming up with the next genre is the big thing. So having these, they called it hot talk, where it's basically guys like Tom Likas, Russ Martin. I don't know if you've heard these guys.
Nope.
They're like Howard Stern. They're talk radio guys
Who's
that are
Howard
kind of
Stern?
shock jocks. Shock jocks. They called it hot talk. And I worked for this hip hop station, and I remember we were going to do a concert in Austin, and then, a week before, they're like, okay, well, we're going to flip formats, and the beat's done in a week. Okay, what are we flipping to? Hot talk. Really? They called it the Coyote, which was really bad. But
Hot talk
yeah,
Coyote.
shit like that happens, Zach. I mean,
That sounds
they'll
very
give them short
pornish, actually. Hot talk, coyote.
Coyote on
Tune in
Week.
for Tune in for Sexy Time at Hot
Well,
talk.
the flagship show was Howard Stern, so
Hmm.
yeah, you can kind of figure that out. Another one, thinking all this. Okay, I'll show my age again. Most of you have no idea about this station, but when I was a kid in the early '90s, a little kid, a wee lad, there was a national rock chain called Z Rock. None of you have ever heard of this, huh?
Listen to the
They
crickets in
were-
the background.
Yeah, they were based out of Dallas. Z-Rock, KKZR was the flagship station in Dallas, but they were a national brand, and I loved them because they played just hard rock. And every Sunday night they played 2 hours of Metallica. They called it the Mighty Met, and then that was from 10 to midnight. From midnight to 2, they had this show called Wounded Radio, where they played nothing but like hardcore metal. But the station was like hardcore rock and heavy metal. Man, I love that station.
I'm getting an
Z-Rock
insight
was-
into young Mr. Fusion. He
Oh
doesn't
man,
sleep
that's
at
seriously listening to
Back
that
when you were
station.
just
That's what
Fusion.
that made me just want to get into broadcasting. I would hear them, and these guys sounded like they were having a fucking blast. And then I listened to sports talk when I was a kid, and that's what really got me wanting me to get into radio and broadcasting. And Z-Rock, that one always sticks with me. KKZR, and I'll put a link dump to the history of Z-Rock. I loved Z-Rock, the imaging, the sound design, everything about it. And I was really sad when it went away.
How does imaging work on a radio station?
Imaging is a term for production. So when you hear they call things like, you hear the term, you won't hear these terms, but a sweeper, a stinger, a promo.
I know what promo is. The other two.
The promo is the most well-known one. That's like a 30 to 1 minute bit of audio where it's called it's full produced, meaning there's a music bed underneath, there's vocals, there's sound effects, there's transitions. A stinger is usually like kind of like the legal ID, but it has like it'll hit you, bam. There's like a loud noise, and you're listening to Z-Rock. It's only like 5 to 10 seconds at the most. It's called a stinger, and so those. I mean, you have a
It
stinger.
doesn't
you have
actually
a drop.
sting you, though.
No, but but just the idea is you're listening, and then bam, you're just slapped across the face with some bit of audio. That's called a stinger. But
My alarm clock
someone
does
has to
that to me every morning, and I hate that
someone
fucking
has
thing.
to put all this together, and that's called imaging. And when I was working in Austin for a long time, I was the imaging director for a station there, and I did all that stuff. So it's basically production work. Like, with Chaos and I, we put together this podcast, and when I do mine, I always take a bit of audio from the podcast or a sound bite, and I put it at the beginning, and then we transition into the music and then the show.
It's
That's
no,
what you call imaging.
Yep, it's no coincidence that Mr. Fusion always sounds the best. He's the one that puts this together.
Wow, that's pretty rough, dude. I wouldn't take that, Chaos. I would just.
Well,
hang up
his
on him
mic
if I
is
were
his mic is always the clearest.
No. We know that Mr. Fusion is paying you to make him sound the best when you do it. It's your turn.
Yeah, because I have to pay someone.
Money under the
that
table.
kinda
Oh, is it?
If he actually
He's not offering
paid me,
you
that would
sexual
be-
favors, is he?
No, if he actually paid me like $50 or something, then that'd be one thing. I don't think I can. Like, his mic is already perfect. It's really a matter of just kind of balancing out other mics that might have random clicking or other
So
things.
Chaos,
Find
what I've
me.
heard just now is that you will sell off for $50. So everyone knows Chaos is asking price. Start bribing. Anything you want, $50.
No bids? Okay, no.
I don't know,
The
check
chat
Twitch
starts
feed. I'm sure
exploding.
people are gonna start bidding any moment now. A date with Chaos? Yeah. Sorry, Ray.
Uh-oh.
He's for sale now. $50. You're gonna have to pay.
Oh well, bye David.
That's pretty funny.
No dice. This is awkward. Okay, I guess we better end this podcast before.
Guys, have anything planned for Thanksgiving tomorrow?
Nope.
Yeah, my plan is to eat a lot of fucking food and pass out.
I have to learn how to make green bean casserole. I've never made it before, but I told
Can
my
I throw
mother
a
I would.
recommendation? Use fresh green beans, not the canned stuff.
Well, yeah, I didn't even.
No, you'd be surprised how many green bean casseroles I've eaten in my life where it's the canned green beans, and it's just not the same. It's not.
I don't even eat canned green beans. Why would I put them in food that I have to serve to other people? Jeez, I've got standards. God.
Because you're not. I mean, you're not eating it, are you? You're cooking it for other people. I don't know.
Good.
As far as I know, you could heat up a can of Alpo and call it, your dinner for family. I don't know.
Where did green beans come from? I dropped that for 1 second and I was such a
They come from beans.
Oh,
that are
God.
green.
Yeah, these little plants that grow on the ground.
They come from the tree of bean.
No, Fusion. I guess when I was dropped, I guess you didn't hear this. But do you have any like stacked audio clips of like you saying this blog radio?
Yeah. No, I do not.
That would be interesting to hear. You like trying to be a radio person, like actually as part of it. That would be really, really interesting to hear.
I think I have a CD somewhere of me and a coworker where when we started out years ago, she and I were trying to do our own show. So actually, and this is really sad, when I first got into the business, I was in promos, which is the stupid people that hold up the banners and the T-shirts, giving out stickers and shit at events. That's promotions. I started out there, forced my way into learning how to run a board and editing and all that stuff, and I did it all myself. Like, it was self-taught, and then I got a job as a producer at another station at another cluster in Austin, and I moved over, and that's where I stayed for a long time. But anyway, besides all that, years ago when I first started out, I used to have to run overnights. I used to have to run a station overnight on the weekends. So my whole weekend was from midnight to 6 a.m. I had to stay up all weekend from midnight to 6 a.m. in a station and just run a station. And it was brutal, but what I would do is I'd get to the station like at 9 o'clock at night. There was another talk show at a talk station in the same office. I would go and help them. That's kind of how I learned how to do this stuff. And after that, I would sit down with this girl. She would come in, and we would just like pretend we had a talk show. And I listened to that audio a couple years ago, and that was really fucking bad. I mean, it was brutal. It was just bad. And
so
maybe if I could...
In relation to that, how would you compare your performance then to your performance here in our little podcast?
It's bad still, too. I've lost my touch. I've digressed. I peaked years ago. I got really good, and then I peaked. Now I'm going downhill.
So what I'm hearing is, since you're
atrophying.
Since you're the best sounding person out of all of us in the podcast, and you think you sound bad, you must really think really badly about the rest of us.
No,
what
I
I'm
don't
hearing,
judge.
Mr.
I don't judge like that. The only time I judge is when it's more of specific topics like politics and sports. Those are the only times when I'm very critical of talk shows. Any other spectrum of talk, I'm very open-minded to. Everyone's different, but if you want to start talking politics, then I'm gonna listen to how the mechanics of the talk format and how bad it is. That's just, especially sports. Oh man, sports podcasts. There's some really bad sports podcasts out there. Guys, if you think you're a good sports podcast person, you're bad.
So we're going to suddenly change the forum thread. Is now the sports thread. We're going to be talking all about sports the entire time.
Oh, Sweetman will love that.
We're not going to bend our will to Sweetman. Sorry, Sweetman. We love you, but no. No.
And I'll just be instead of Minecraft, I'll be playing Madden during every stream.
You can't see it right now, but my eye just started twitching as you said that. Just we had a conversation not too long ago about how I felt about Madden, and yeah, we're not going to go over it again. It's a bad idea. Bad chaos. Give me a rolled up newspaper.
To be fair, I'm not actually going to suggest we suddenly think of sports, especially since there's only one sports expert here.
Yeah, it'll just be me talking to myself. It'll sound like I usually after I've had a few beers, so. Which it could be entertaining, but I can't guarantee everything.
Drunk Fusion talk sports.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what we could do. Fusion and I could have our own drunk show. I could get drunk, we could get drunk, and just have a good old time.
That would be interesting.
Argue, no, fuck you, no, fuck you.
First one to pass out loses.
Oh no! If he got, I don't think he's ever been like that drunk. That would be something. See.
No, but Dark has been pretty loaded before.
I don't remember half the podcasts that I do.
There you go.
And I
Sign of a true champion.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. People ask me what the podcast is about. I'm like, I don't know. We talk about stuff.
On that note, I think it's a good time to say goodbye because we aren't talking about anything important right now. So.
And we're not making something out of nothing, so...
Exactly. We're at chicken shit, not chicken... what's the saying? I don't even know. Chicken salad out of chicken shit? Is that... I don't know. No. Chicken salad is chicken shit. I don't know how it goes.
What are you talking?
We're crashing.
I don't know. I haven't had dinner, and now I want
basically
chicken.
you want chicken right now.
Now I want chicken shit right now. So
I had a piece of chicken for dinner. It was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, with goat cheese.
I don't know if I want chicken salad or chicken shit for dinner. Whatever. I got to figure this out. So.
My dog really liked to eat chicken shit. Like she would wander around after the chickens, licking the shit up off the ground. Like it's got to taste amazing based on her behavior. So go for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like my dog's squirrel shit. I mean, there must be something magical in that stuff because they go buck wild when they find squirrel shit.
Yeah.
They eat it and they want to roll in it, and I'm like, really?
It kind of makes
cool?
me wish I could spend a day as a dog just so I could experience the joy of gobbling up shit like that and not being completely revolted.
And you can sniff other people's butts without getting in trouble, right?
Yep.
Well, you know, depending on where you're at, you can still do that.
That's very true. I'm sure you know where to go.
I wouldn't know anything about that. But if you do know somewhere that you can do that, leave them in the comments below. What? All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Dark One Dry is out.